Hey, what is going on, everyone? Well, I'm so glad you have took your time to spend with me right here today. I am your co-host for the MRB Wrestling Review Show, Mike McRock Wilson. And last night was TNA Impact Wrestling live from Las Vegas, Nevada. What I really liked about this episode of TNA last night was the Battle for Glory series matches that took place throughout the night. You had Jeff Hardy teaming up with Joseph Park, in which they went one-on-one last week, facing the team of AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, who also went one-on-one last week. So that interesting dynamic, is there from previous week to this week. So I like that within the Battle for Glory series, there's always some little twist they'll pull on, this random selections, pull out a name of the hat, and draw a name, and he's your partner. So I like that, even though it was an unpredictable, feeling behind the concept of these tag team matches. There was still that, predictability factor, like who's going to be involved next. But with that being said, I like that AJ Styles and Samoa Joe won the match, and then what happens is now those two advance to a Gauntlet Battle Royal, which would be contested of 6 guys, and when it comes down to two TNA superstars, it'll be pinfall or submission, and the winner gets 25 points. So that what really made this show interesting in the Battle for Glory series is that it really kicked into high gear, and it really felt like that the winner does deserve 25 points because, whoever it was involved in more than one match, right? So it makes sense in that area. Also in that Battle for Glory series match, it was Jay Bradley teaming with Hernandez, who also went one-on-one last week, who faced Mr. Anderson, a member of Aces and Eights, and Magnus. And the funny dynamic is that, Main Event Mafia and the Aces and Eights are at war with each other, and you have Anderson, a member of Aces and Eights, teaming up with the Main Event Mafia member Magnus. So that interesting dynamic, that cliched interesting dynamic is there already. It was fun, it was entertaining, amazing to watch, and Anderson and Magnus got the victory, and they advanced to the Gauntlet match. And what I also liked about that match was Mr. Anderson, actually, where he kind of just acted like he was doing all the heavy lifting when really Magnus was doing all the heavy lifting for the team. So the little things like that were really interesting, and it was entertaining to say the least. And then it came to what I thought was the most entertaining match of the night, and that was Christopher Daniels. Earlier backstage when we saw, Bad Influence and the Dirty Heels, we saw Christopher Daniels playing on the fact that, us, the Bad Influence, we're going to take you down, you Dirty Heels, stuff like that, right? So you would expect for the roles to be reversed, and guys that don't team up with each other will team up with each other. So that did happen. So it was Christopher Daniels and Austin Aries taking on Bobby Roode and Kaz. And what I like about this match was that, the tags in and out, it was funny as heck. Everything was hilarious. And it was all this back and forth confusion involving these 4 guys. And then the end result being Kaz pinning Daniels, and he didn't know that he pinned Daniels, so it was kind of like, a surprise to Kaz that he won. Well, not that he won, but that he surprised himself when he pinned his own partner, but not his partner in the match. So that was the whole match was just absolutely amazing. And again, it's just one of those matches. It was entertaining to watch, to say the least. Also, last night, there's a new VP in the Aces and Eights. They got a club vote. It was tied 3-3, and the deciding vote came to the big man Knox. Either Doc or Mr. Anderson will be the new VP. What happened? Knox voted Anderson. Now, what I like about this is that Doc has been focused on Anderson for quite some time, and now that that's gone, it makes perfect sense for Doc to be a little ticked off with Knox because he voted Anderson and not Doc, because they were kind of, looking like they were buddies, always teaming with each other sometimes. So that's an interesting, nice little flip, nice twist. And now that Doc is now focused on Anderson, he's focused on Knox, he's kind of ticked off with him. I mean, who wouldn't be when, you don't get voted as the VP? I mean, come on, right? So in that area, it makes total sense for Knox to react. For Doc, it makes sense for Doc. The way he reacted, makes sense, right? So with that said, Mr. Anderson is a new VP of Aces and Eights. I was really looking, forward to seeing. Okay, Mr. Anderson will be the VP anyway, so I'm glad it is Mr. Anderson. I'll just leave it at that for now. Also last night, Gail Kim faced Taryn Terrell in a ladder match, and the winner will be #1 contender to Mickie James' Knockouts Championship. And what I like about this match was that, that really topped their match at Slammiversary. It was brutal. WWE, take notes. This is how you book a Knockouts or Divas match. Really. These two knockouts, Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell, again, tore the house down, not only at Slammiversary, but on TNA Impact Wrestling with their ladder match. Absolutely brutal, absolutely physical. And Gail Kim is a genius, the way, the commentary pointed out, they were on point, as always. When Gail Kim tied Taryn Terrell's hair to the ropes, climbed the ladder and got the contract. I mean, that was just genius on the part of Gail Kim. And so, with that being said, Gail Kim, new number one contender for the Knockouts Championship. And this is interesting because I like to see where it goes from here, because for some reason, I feel that Taryn Terrell will be exerted into this match somehow, some way, shape, or form, because it is like a heel versus heel. Who's the audience going to cheer for, Gail Kim or Mickie James in this Knockouts Championship match? So I think somehow, some way, Taryn Terrell is going to exert herself into a match that could end up in a triple threat match. Because really, Taryn Terrell is still a #1 contender when she won the match at Slammiversary, and Gail Kim on TNA. So they're even, and it's kind of like they're tied, and there's like no rubber match just yet, and I'm waiting on it right now. So I'm interested to see where this is going to go within the Knockouts division and the Knockouts Championship. Also last night, Aces and Eights. Bully Ray talked about his wife, and etc., etc., etc. Chris Sabin in the Main Event Mafia. And Kurt Angle, earlier, he said he will reveal who will be the 5th member of the Main Event Mafia. And he said he will be a hard hitter. Hints, hints, hard hitter. There's only one name that comes to mind. Hard hitter. And I'll get to that right now. But before I do, the Gauntlet match. AJ Styles, Magnus, Kaz, Joe, Bobby Roode, and Anderson. This was a Bound for Glory match. The winner gets 25 points. And AJ Styles, Cash, Joe, and Anderson all got eliminated, so it was down to Magnus and Bobby Roode. Here's the interesting thing that I really liked about the final two participants. Magnus is up on the leaderboard at first place, and Bobby Roode has no points. So Bobby Roode, was doing everything he could to win because he really needs the points. He really needs that 25, to gain up there in the top, 3 or 4, right? So it would make sense for Bobby Roode to be one of the final two guys because he has no points. And Magnus being, the top guy in there, it would just make you think, okay, Bobby Roode needs this win. He needs the 25. He needs it for him. But what happened? Magnus won the match and has 49 points in the Bound for Glory series. He looks good right now in the Bound for Glory series. However, I still don't see Magnus winning the Bound for Glory series match. Only because, let's play this out with him in the main event Mafia, and there's going to be a war with them and Aces and Eights. So I think they should just leave it at that. But I do like that he is gaining momentum in singles competition by earning all these points in the Bound for Glory series. And I think he'll be one of the final 4 that come, in a particular time where only 4 compete, the final 4, and the winner will face the world champ, whoever it may be. And, I don't see Magnus winning, but I do see him, gaining a lot more points than just 49. And will Chris Sabin give up his X Division Championship for a shot at Bully Ray's World Heavyweight Championship? Well, in the words of a WWE superstar, yes! And what I really liked about that final semi was that it was a great... Both guys looked good last night. Bully Ray, the little things, wearing the sunglasses, makes him more of a bad boy, in his character in that sense. All well and good, awesome stuff. Not only Bully Ray's promo was excellent, but so was Chris Sabin's. And this is really getting me interested to see next week's main event with Bully Ray and Chris Sabin for the World Heavyweight Championship, because it feels like it's going to be one of those situations where the underdog has everything to lose. So he gave up his X Division Championship title for a shot for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I would be surprised. Just imagine the way the audience will react if Chris Sabin won the World Heavyweight Championship. Hope if that does happen, the crowd should go nuts. I mean, come on. If the crowd doesn't go nuts, there's something wrong with you. Really. So with that said, however, for some reason I see Bully Ray retaining and staying the World Heavyweight Champion at least until Bound for Glory and losing that Bound for Glory. That's my prediction about Bully Ray and his character and as the World Heavyweight Champ. But for some reason, I think somehow Chris Sabin could just pull off a victory. He might get so far and then lose, or he'll be the underdog that defeats Goliath. David versus Goliath, right? And just before the show closed off, Kurt Angle and Sting came out, the main event Mafia, Samoa Joe and Magnus, when the rest of the Aces and Eights came out around the same time and revealed that the 5th member of the main event Mafia, the heavy hitter, Quentin Rampage Jackson, MMA fighter, That was the only name that came to mind when I thought of Heavy Hitter. Here's the interesting thing about this new fifth member of the Main Event Mafia. I don't see Rampage Jackson, competing in a lot of wrestling matches within the Main Event Mafia, etc., etc. But I see him as the enforcer of the group. And so I'm curious to see now what's going to happen within the next few weeks with this awesome, team of the Main Event Mafia. The Main Event Mafia looked good closing out TNA Impact Wrestling last night, with all 5 of them lining up there with Rampage Jackson right in the middle. And Quentin Rampage Jackson, yeah, excellent choice because, you saw, in the past few weeks, Kurt Angle talking to Rampage Jackson about, hey, you're new here, and, and you gotta learn the business, you're only new, you gotta learn, etc., etc. This is the perfect thing for Rampage Jackson to learn from, and I think somehow, some way, shape, or form, there's going to be some sort of rivalry happening with Kurt Angle and Rampage Jackson. It won't be soon, but I see it happening later on. So, with all that being said, that was my review of TNA Impact Wrestling Live. That was and I'm your co-host for the MRB Wrestling Review Show, Mike McRock Wilson. To all you viewers watching, get plenty of rest, and always do your best.